Welcome back, everybody. Kathy Arbor here, and today we're going to be working in my sketchbook slash it's a combination of watercolor and sketches. And I've used the last part for nature journaling. I do have a few odds and sods in this other than nature. So before I get to that, I just wanted to show you what we've been up to this last week. This is what we did on last Thursday, and this is just done on copy paper, so you don't need special scrapbooks or papers to just play around, really, to experiment, to see what you like doing in art. If you're new to this, just use some copy paper. This is actually a gel print that I did maybe a month ago, and then I painted over top of it with some acrylic paint. And this was a paint along, and I believe there is a traceable for this one. So that was last Thursday. This is what we were playing with in our members, YouTube members class lesson. And this time it was about gel transfers and laser transfers. Hey Joan! So these are actually image transfers enhanced with, this one was enhanced with paint to bring out the face a little more. And this one was a transfer from a magazine using black acrylic paint in your jelly plate, and then enhanced with oil pastel. So if you want to learn a little more about that, this one is in the budding artist and higher group, and this was also one of the projects that we did using a little bit of mixed media. So again, oil pastels, some collage, paint, gel printing, and transfers. This was also done with a laser print that I did. Great way of making your own rub-ons. So if you want to learn about that, that is in the blooming artist group. And so this is all from a laser rub-on. Alright, so I hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. It's beautiful here. The weather is finally back to normal for this area of the country. Now we're mid to low 70s here, so it's great. The humidity's gone, thank goodness. Hey Janet, good to see you. You still have company, or are you all free now? Hey Dorothy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So today we're going to be doing a little kind of a vignette of my pots on my deck, on my back deck. And they're in a cluster of 3, and then I have this cute little frog sculpture they left yesterday evening. Ah, yeah, it's always sad to see them go, but it's always good to be back to your normal routine too. I know. You're good? Awesome, Dorothy. So last week we did this. So I was teaching you about salt on the papers. Now they didn't come out that bright, and I think it was because of my paint. The colors that I were using didn't have, some paint travels more than others. And when you get one that really travels, the salt will push those pigments away. Now this was a little bit of a bloom, and what I did, it was enhance it with some ink and a little bit more watercolor. I also just took a scrap piece of paper, wrote Queen Anne's lace, and this background here is actually a hot glue stencil that I made, and I just laid it down on my page without this on, and then just put a whole bunch of watercolor, kind of the mud of the palette, over top of the stencil and let it dry overnight, and that's what I got. So I thought it was kind of a neat background to frame this little piece. So you can add multiple layers on your watercolors too. You don't have to just do a watercolor and that's it. Add some collage. I think it really looks attractive. This was the other piece that we did with the salt on the clouds to make the clouds, and they came out pretty good. And then I had dropped water and I made people out of those droplets, just because it's almost impossible to take a water droplet off because it takes the paint out, and then you got to do something with it. You can't fix it. So I made my little peoples. So if you want to check this out, how I came about doing this, that was last week's Tuesday stream. So I think that what I'll do is probably put it in here, make another background. It's hard to tell. I don't know. I might. I don't plan anything ahead too much. I did actually. You'll be proud of me. I actually made a swatch of my palette finally, and I just put some laminate on it and then put it through. Oh, thanks, Dorothy. So today, the vignette, it's already up on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to see it and follow along. Let's see. Get it on my phone here. So there's my deck. There's a step down just behind these flowers both ways. It's kind of in a corner, and this is a banana tree behind it, and it's not a huge one because it was just a baby when I bought it, but it's in its own pot. And then these two, that's coleus, and this one, oh, what was it called? I think they called it wormwood, and it's soft as soft can be. It almost feels like fur, it's so soft, and it likes a dry, sunny, hot area. So I just stuck it in a pot. It's a perennial, so you can either put it in the garden when you're done in the fall, or you could probably even stick it in a corner by the house where it doesn't get any sun, so it doesn't thaw and freeze, and then just bring it back out in the spring. So I think this is what I'm going to be doing. And I got a cute little frog from my grandkids. They bought me that for my birthday. So I'll paint him too. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put all of this in, or I might. Hey, Colleen. So that's what we're going to be doing. So you can get this picture on Instagram if you want to follow along. Colleen, I don't know if you saw this. That's what we did in the Blooming Artist or Budding Artist on the weekend, and it's oil pastels on top of a magazine transfer. Great way of practicing faces. So let's see, should I do, maybe I'll just do like it that way, if you can see it. Yeah, I'll do it on this side, I guess. So we'll just put that there. Do you want me to bring you guys in a little bit? I'm just going to sketch this, and I think I'm going to try just sketching more of a contour line than an actual graphite stitch or sketch. Let's see, number 3 I think I'll use, and I want to use a waterproof ink because we'll sketch over top of this. So we're just gonna, I keep missing your live stream. Well, they're right up, if you go on community page, you'll see in the members, they're still there, Dorothy, if you want to go watch them. They're recorded, so you can go watch them if you want. You're not, you might have to redo the bell. But you can go in the community and find it. There'll be a link for the streams. All right. I think that's what we'll do. So we'll do this little frog here. So, and if you do contour lines, the trick is not to take your pen off of the page. So let's see if we can do it. You can go back over. Come up. Press googly eye in. And then it's going to look funny, but like I say, this is what your sketchbook's all about. Oh, no, I didn't get it quite right, but we can improvise. Let's see, that there is the shoulder. Then this comes down, 3 toes, comes back, and goes up like that. This 2.5 toes worth, and then it comes up like that. So that. Okay. Not bad. It's cute. And then from here we have a squiggles to the edge of the page. This will be my plant. So I'm just trying to do a contour line. Now then there's this plant here. Comes down. Well, it's not quite there, but that's where it's going to be. And then so this is a reference. Obviously I'm not doing it exact. There's some holes in there. Little tufts. So, and then this goes like that. And then for this part, I think I'm just going to do a bunch of, I'm not going to get too caught up. I'm just going to make a bunch of funny shaped leaves. Sometimes this type of drawing has more interest, I find. So it's fun to play with it. So it's very freeing, actually, to do it this way. So this comes around. Let's see. That goes down like that, so it comes across and then up. And I'm looking at the overall shape, not necessarily looking at each individual leaf. I do see that most of the leaves are turned down, so, and they are on a stalk, so I can put that in, and I'm not lifting my pen when I'm going up. So try it. It's very freeing. You know that that's the way it's going to be, so we're going to work with it. I'm just basically making some scribble leaves. So we'll bring some more over here. So really don't see the pot too much in there. You come out a bit over top of this. Make some more in here, just a few. You don't have to fill in every single space. Just make them scribble. This is basically how you also practice figure drawing and time yourself in drawing. It frees up your mind in thinking when you've got a specific amount of time to do it. Okay, I do have some big leaves here, so let's put those in too. So I have banana leaf here, and I have a big one there. So they kind of droop on their center stem. It's very interesting, actually. And I'm going to try and bring this in for the winter and see if I can keep it, because I hate to just let them die. And another one there, just to show. Like that. And these are all black pots. All right, and then I guess I could put the lines in my deck. As they get closer to you, they'll be a little bit bigger. There. So that's my basic drawing. So now we're going to color it in. And this is going to be very loose. I don't want to get too caught up in detail in this one. So I'm going to dry it first, make sure the ink is good and dry. Rachel? You unsubscribed and resubscribed. No change yet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in questioning what's going on too. I just don't understand why some people are getting them and some people aren't. It's weird. I'm in the same boat when I watch people too. For some reason, like Lena, I do not get any of her notifications at all. Same with Devin. I don't get any of your notifications. So I don't know. And they can't seem to tell me. I've asked. I don't get any kind of an answer from them, so it's very frustrating. Is she the best? Oh, you're having surgery? Yes, the very best to you, Colleen. Fast recovery. Okay, so there's very little, there might be a little bit of a highlight on that black pail, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to mix up a black. I don't have black in here, but I have an indigo and a Payne's gray. I think the Payne's gray is a little bit more on the black side. So I'm going to mix that. Have a little bit of red with it, or magenta. And some raw umber. Just to darken it. That'll give you usually a pretty good that's purple. Just kind of have to go back and forth. Let's do some green in there. There. That's better. Nice rich black. And I'm going to start with just along, I want to keep some of these lighter areas of the foliage here. I don't want to cover that up. But I'm not going to be too precious about my lines. If it goes over, it goes over. So as I want it fairly loose. So in here will be, this one too is black. So nice loose drawing, loose painting. Doesn't always have to be, can even take the cloth and wipe some off. I want it fairly dark. There, nice black. So this part here is really dark, so I want a little bit darker. They're different pots too, so they might be a little bit of a different blue. And I'm not going to see a whole lot of highlight in there because it's shadowed by both the other pots. Okay. Now this one here, I think it's called wormwood, but I'm not, don't quote me on it. It's kind of a bluey green. So almost, it's almost got a turquoise tinge to it. I'm just gonna wipe this because I want a fairly clean color. So I do have cobalt here. Use some of this. And water it down. And then I'm going to take a real light bit of this gray and just spot in areas. So it's kind of like a shaded areas underneath here and there. And maybe I can take colored pencils if I wanted to finish it. Very quick. Now these are beautiful. They're vibrant, orangey red. So I think this here, the Winsor & Newton Scarlet Lake, will look good. It's a beautiful color. Some in here. And I'm also going to use some of this blackish color to put in. And I'm just going to go around here. I'm not even going to worry about going on the leaf itself. I just want to put some color in. Maybe take a little bit of yellow. Add some of the yellow in there too. So they do have variations in their color. A bit more. And then a nice dark. More of a burgundy. So I just add a little bit of this dark color and you just go in. Oops, sorry for that. And put some darker shades, mostly in the middle here because that's where the shaded areas would be. I wouldn't put too many on the top. Like that. Now these banana leaves are really beautiful colors. It's kind of hard to see. They've got burgundy in them. They've got a bit of orange, green. So start with the lightest color. So that kind of a limey green color. Maybe right down here, and I'll just put a little bit on the ends, over there. Then I can take some of this kind of orangey color here and there. They grow so fast too, these banana trees. It's amazing. And then some of this burgundy just along the edge, down the spine. The little veins down the plant is burgundy. And then a little bit more green. Just in here. Just throw some in while it's still wet. Can't really go wrong with these because they're so colorful, these leaves. Just stick to the colors that you have in there and you should be okay. Alright, now with this little frog, I am going to take a China marker and just color in little for some reason this isn't unwinding right. It has a little flower pattern, so I'm just gonna put some, I can't really see what I'm doing, I'm just gonna do kind of stars here and there. And it's just on his body. And this way I'll have a resist. At least that's the plan. We'll see. And then you can take your black, where did I put my, black, just go over it. Okay, so that worked. Now I can put some shading areas in. So it's very, very loose, but it, you know what it is. So this kind of nature drawing I like to do too. Doesn't always have to be very detailed. It could be very loose and whimsical looking. It's just that with a sketchbook paper, you have to make sure you dry it up as much as possible. Hey Julie, thanks. Because it'll start to pill if you keep rubbing into a wet sketchbook paper. So just dry it up and then you can put another layer on it. Okay, so now we can add, let's see, some highlights and lowlights. Let's put some shadows in here. So just a few shadows. Now some under his toes, right in here where his belly is, and think about how the shadow would be cast. Oh, I didn't put his crease in his leg there. Okay, this looks wonky. What did I do here? Forgot to put a line in there, but we can put it in later. Should go right there, and this should be dark. Just under his toes. Under here is a little bit darker. Thanks, Devin. It's fun. It doesn't have to always be fancy, detailed. I tend to get really caught up in doing that type of art, and I'd like to do more loose watercolor, more sketching than fun, I guess. Maybe a little darker under there with shadow. A little bit of a shadow around him, depending on how the sun is going. And throw a little more of this in. Just in certain areas where it's the center of the plant would be, because then you'd see a little more shadows because it's more congested. So I haven't really used any other color, like additional colors. Just the same color. Let's put a nice dark line in there. They do have a really, really dark center vein. There. And then just a light wash of maybe brown or ochre. Raw sienna maybe. Fairly light. Just then get some more of this color, and we can put some shadows in from the wood spacing, and with the edge of my brush I can also do some dry brushing. My deck needs painting. There. Let's dry that again, and then we can throw a little bit of blue in the background. Okay, so now we can go back in with our pen if we wanted to. So add a little bit more detail to this little froggy. Where his toes are. And let's see. You can also do some hatch lines, cross hatching, whatever, to add more shading. Same with the pots if you wanted to add more. If it had a design on the pot, you could put that in, or you could just leave it. Make it more sketchy. Maybe put a little more dots and dashes in here because it's very textured plant. And I could also take some white. If you have a white pen, you could put white pen in here. So you just try to either paint or draw in what is the characteristic of what you're drawing. So this one is very, very fine textured, a lot of bits to it, I guess you could say. So you kind of want to indicate that. The best way for me is to just draw a bunch of squiggles. No thanks, Joan. You just play. A watercolor is, it's fast. This type of watercolor. Let's put some, we have some stems in here. I'm just going to draw some of those in. Maybe a little darker. Don't have to draw a straight line. Let them kind of peek through here and there. These plants, they have a real definite ridge on their leaves. Don't know if you can see that one. So it's kind of nice to put some of those in, or tears. They might have some tears in, but they do have a pattern, and you could follow the leaf because it's not straight. So the leaves, see how they kind of curve a little. Depends on how the leaf is folding. You can kind of like a Zentangling almost. Just put a few in. You don't have to put them all in. Just keep in, if you're going to do this type of work, just keep in mind which way they're going. So I might put a few in. Let's see, this one, they're going this way because it's folded. And then I'm just going to put a few in. And I think I'll put some on this one because it kind of disappears a little bit. So if I put lines in, you're going to notice it a little bit more. So it separates it from these other plants. And I'm just going to put in a few here, not much. I don't think I want all of them in, just to indicate what they're like. So that's cute. So let's put a little bit of highlight in on the frog. And let's see if this one will work. Yep. So you just have a little bit of highlight. Just put some there on his mouth and on top of his eyeballs. That. Maybe on top here, just to show against that other background because it's so familiar. And right here, that little line around his neck. And maybe on his toes. You can just do a bunch of lines too. This one doesn't write on it very well for some reason. Let's see if it'll write on here. Kind of. Do a bunch of squiggles. Let's see if we can get something a little bit brighter. See if this one. Jelly roll. No, I don't think it's showing enough. Might have to go to the Posca. So you don't have, or I could actually do colored pencil. Let's see if that will work. Sharpen it. Nope. Posca. Kathy, do you create your watercolor pans or was it a pre-made? No, I made that pan. I pick colors that whatever I was painting at the time, and I just left them in there. I've got a whole pan. I change them up. So this is just a core, what core came in when I bought some core. Let's see. So I've got a bunch of pans. And they're all labeled on the sides. So if I need a certain color that's not in here, then I'll interchange them. But right now this is what I have in here. So that's what I'm using at the moment. And it's a mix of M. Graham, Da Vinci, Daniel Smith, Core, Winsor and Newton, Sun Gold and Rose Gold from Zandra. So kind of, you just, after a while you'll get to know what colors you use most of, and then you'll change your pans up. If you're just starting out though, it's a good idea to get your primaries. So say a warm yellow, a cool yellow. So that means a warm yellow is more on the color wheel. It's more leaning towards the reds. So it's not necessarily here. This is very hard to, probably doesn't even show. Yellow's hard to show on camera. This one here is a warm yellow. This one here is a cool yellow. It's more on the green side. So you kind of find your warm in and cool in each primary color. So your red, your blue, your yellow, and then some people don't even put green in theirs. They make their own greens. But I like using green. And I always have a ultramarine blue and umber, raw umber or burnt umber, raw sienna or an ochre. I use a lot of that color, but it depends what you're going to be drawing and painting too. Maybe you're not going to be doing a whole lot of scenes or landscapes, so you might not use those colors. So it depends on what you're going to be painting. Okay, I'm just gonna throw in a few marks here and there of this, just as a highlight. There might be a few little highlights here and there. I'm not even looking at the lines that are already on there. Same with this. Sometimes they're quite shiny, these leaves, so you might see a little bit of highlight in there. Right on here. And then I think I could put some green, wood green in here. So just skipping. Oh yeah, I was going to fix his. Now, I label mine on the sides too, otherwise, yes, yeah, mine are all labeled. Also, I'm terrible for swatching. I don't know why. I haven't swatched in ages. And then I just laminated that. Now, what I could do is cut those all separate and make a little swatch card that I could tuck them into, like a piece of plastic with slits. So if I decide to switch out any of these, then I can just remove it. Let's put some blue. So let's do a cobalt blue. And we'll just put some blue in the sky here. Doesn't have to be heavy or anything. Could be clouds in there, so you can kind of skip along. There. So something very quick, but I know what it is. Now I can also put a sentiment on there, relaxing or whatever, to finish that up, or write about something on the wood deck here, or put a separate piece of paper and hinge it into the page if I wanted to. I am sure if I missed you answering my question above, but do you prefer sketch paint from photo or real life? Actually, I prefer photo. It depends on what you're sketching too. Like as far as people or birds, animals, you have to be very, very quick. If you're just doing gestural drawing, then it's fine to do it live, because you're not necessarily concentrating on getting a detailed sketch. You're more, it's more about finding the shapes and putting them in proportion. And the more you do of gestural drawing, the easier and quicker you can do them. And then that's great for doing this type of thing out in public. But if you're just starting, I would take pictures to get your confidence up. If you're doing a flower and it's not windy or whatever, you're not going to change the direction of how you're sitting, then yeah, do that. But as far as animals or birds, that type of thing, no, I would take a picture. If you want to learn how to do gestural drawing, the best thing to do is your dog or a cat or something like that, whatever you, or even if watch your kids. If your kids are watching TV or your partner's watching TV, sit there and draw them. Give yourself a minute. Start off with a minute and see what shapes. It teaches your eye, your mind's eye, to see the shapes and not get messed up by your opposite side of the brain telling you, no, that's an eye, no, that's a finger. You just draw because you have a time limit. And it makes you think with the proper artistic eye. It's very interesting. We used to have to do a lot of that in art school. So we would have 20-second, 30-second, 1 minute, and then we got a 5-minute drawing. But it was amazing how quickly you could do things when you start off with that. And it is a different view from live to, say, TV or a photograph. Thanks, Dot. There are, I believe YouTube has, if you want to do figure drawing and gestural drawing, and YouTube has a few channels where they do the 30-second, 1 minute, 5-minute, and I think there's a 15-minute of models. And that's a good one to start off if you want to try that. If you're one too that is feeling uncomfortable when people come and look at your stuff, or you know, that type of thing, I find that that kind of a distraction, that kind of mindset that you have, it's really difficult to draw, take the time to draw and look at things properly, because you're almost rushing yourself so you can get out of that area as quick as possible. So if you're just doing gestural, then that's fine, but if you're trying to get a really precise drawing, then it's hard. You kind of have to get yourself used to doing that. See you later, Colleen. And again, I don't know when your surgery is, but I wish you the best. Fast recovery. So for this, I think I'm going to put it here. Should I have it this way or this way? But I think I want something underneath it. So I think a piece of either a burlap would look really cool behind there, but I don't think I have any burlap. Just a minute, I can have a look. And even just unusual papers like this stuff sometimes will work. I've had this stuff for ages. Oh, that's cool. I forgot I had this. Rice papers. This one might be cool. That one too is awesome. Leaves. Maybe some of this. I have all kinds of this stuff. Just have to go find it. This might be kind of cool. This is also really neat to paint and glue. It's strong. You don't really notice the circles in it though, unless how much, oh yeah, you can't tear it. I think the edges would be kind of cool torn. So let's put, I'm going to cut a square out and then tear the edges. And maybe color it, change it up a little bit. Not a lot, maybe like coffee or tea dyed. Might look kind of cool, but I want the edges rough. I forgot I had these. So I can just tear the edges. It gives a nice raw edge. Just on the top and the bottom and the outer side. I'm going to leave this side straight just so I can isn't that interesting? It's harder to tear in one section one way and easier the other way. So just so that it looks rough. Suppose if I had pinking shears, I don't think I have any. Tear bits of it out, maybe. It's hard. It's tough. I wonder if I wet it. Let's see. It's easier. This stuff too is it's a rice paper, so oh yeah, that's easier. Once it's dried. So now I can, what color? I think that looks cool. So I'm just going to glue down. I think I will make this rough too. Should I or not? I don't know. What color should I do it? Gray or a cream? I could do rose gold. Let's see. I'm going to try wetting it. And applying the rose gold to it. See what it does. Or spray. I think I'm gonna get a spray. So it's wet. I'm going to put this aside for a minute. mop it up. Stick it in the water. Squeeze it out. We'll see if it works. It's pretty durable. And then I'll spray it, or not spray it, dry it. I love finding different rice papers like this. This one was from a Japanese store, paper store in Toronto that I got this. Many years ago. Right. Yeah, perfect color. So put that down like that. That or like this. And then I'm just gonna glue with some matte medium, just the center kind of. Let's see my big brush, because I want the paper sticking up. Okay, so it's still raggedy looking. And then this, let's dry that. Kind of looks like that in a way, but different. I think it's neat. then I could just put two-sided tape and tape that down. Yeah, I think it goes more like that. Trying to think, if you're reviewing this, which way this would be best put. So I do have some tape here. Kathy, will you do a flip of your sketchbook? This one? Sure. No problem. Dogs are all sleeping, so I got some time. The little pup is doing pretty good. So she's sleeping in the crate right now, so she doesn't get into mischief. Last week, while I was streaming, she tore her pillow apart. Bugger. Okay, so just let me burnish this. Here's my tool. Don't know where I put it. Oh, I'll use this. Let's take the tape off. Oh, that's why I'm on Top Chat. No wonder. Hope I didn't miss anybody, but I was on Top Chat the whole time. All right. So then we'll put it right on. Here. And there. That one. Hopefully that, if I might have to go in and really glue it down if it doesn't stick once it's closed. All right. This is an everything sketchbook. So I used it for all kinds of stuff. 2016, so that was my backyard, my house, plants. This was cute. This is one of the people were giving a one word and we had to do a page for that word. And that was sweater, so I put sweater in there. sunglasses. Thanks, Julie. Moon, star, planet, Gemini constellation, snowman, angel, Christmas tree, and the cat's eating it. Art supply, a wet cat. And the word was wet, cold, so I did somebody with a cold. Soft ice cream, taste. Smells good, so I did a rose, fictional character, golem. My spirit animal was snake. That surprised me. Place I would like to visit. Some gardens in the UK. Something I would like to learn. Photoshop. Favorite season, spring. Thanks, Devin. Eileen wasn't giving us the prompts in time, so I put, I need my prompts. I like to try to bring some humor in it every once in a while. This is a caution, bottled up art critic. Book, bridge. That was a bridge by where I lived. It was an old covered bridge. They called it the Kissing Bridge. Bird, boot, that's an owl. A boot with some plants growing out of it. Walnut leaf. Strawberry leaf, so I did strawberry shortcake. Potato leaf. I made it into a face. Verbena or viburnum. Quince leaf. Goldfish. Slipper orchids. Pastry. Thanks, Michelle. Just my keychain and a drop of water. Some eyes, just practicing eyes. And this one was journal, so I just put hand writing. Jellyfish, jewelry, and I did the earrings on her ear. Plane. Nope, this way. Jupiter. Yeah. Elephant. So I did a little mouse by the elephant feet. Eiffel Tower. That was a 3D, or not 3D, perspective one. egret, egg. So I practicing hands. So I did the egg holding, cracking the egg. Mount Everest. That was just a monochrome painting, no sketch, just paint. Oh, I did one upside down. Valentine heart, little bunny. I like doing those bunnies. Just a carton. So I did a carton of Borden milk. And then that was done with red pen and watercolor. This was apples done with sepia, pen work, and watercolor. Coffee. Number 1 Dee Dee fan. She had this little guy on her table for a long time, so that's what I drew. Icicles. That was icicles off my roof, out the window. Spoon. Orange slices. Just rock trees. Practicing. It's my lamp in my living room, a Tiffany lamp. That's one of my planters with an orchid. That's a wood box. It kind of looks like a drawer. Candle. Basket. Little dog in the basket. That's my pencil case. And gloves holding a plant spring. Sandwich. African violets. Zentangle or doodle. Butterfly. Mask. I think this was supposed to be candy or something. Chocolate. And then we started on this. So the primulas. Hyacinth for Cynthia. Iris. Bloodroot. Anemones. Irene tulips. Magnolia. The rose. Peony. And lavender. Prickly pear. Nymphophia or red hot poker. This was a actual print from a real plant of Roseanne. Scene from Tobermory, not far from me. A lily from my garden. August butterfly and fence post. Grass. Different grasses that I have in my garden. False indigo. Thistle. Fern. Queen's Anne's lace. Beach scene and my porch. And that's it. Okay, so as you can see, you don't have to stick with one particular topic. You can do all kinds of stuff. This is experiment. These are all experimenting. is a place to feel comfortable and safe about drawing. You don't have to show yours to anybody. Just keep it to yourself if you're not up to feeling good enough. If you don't think you're good enough to show it, which you'll eventually will feel more confident in yourself. Just keep drawing. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It's always a learning experience. It's never a failure. It's always a learning experience. You've learned something. Doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. You have to get to thinking about that and enjoying the process, not rushing to get the finished product. Enjoy the process. That's, for me anyways, that's the best part. It's an escape from reality. Oh, thanks, Devin. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, just play. And then this is a good way of finding what you like to do. Like, some people don't like doing ink and watercolor. Some people just like watercolors, but you won't find those things out until you do it. So I'll let you guys go, and I hope to see you all on Thursday. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing. I haven't decided yet. Probably mixed media. Thanks, Dot. You have a safe evening also. And get out your sketchbooks and just experiment and have some fun doing it. All right, we'll see you all later. Bye for now.